It's been a little over a month since the Samsung Galaxy Note 8 came out, and I've been using it as my daily driver. This is the Samsung Galaxy Note 8 review from an average smartphone user. There are a ton of categories that I could talk about, but I'm going to focus on ones people will notice most, like the camera, gaming, battery, sound, S Pen, display, and overall functionality and fluidity. The Note series is my favorite series of smartphones, but I'm going to try to make this as unbiased as possible. Let's begin with the build and feel of the phone. So, making the jump from a 5.7-inch display on my Note 4 to the 6.3-inch display on the Note 8, I was expecting a huge difference. Well, the Note 8 actually feels smaller. I can't tell that it's in my pocket unless it has a case on it. That could either be a good thing or a bad thing, but for a phone this size, I'd say it's good. In my hand, this is also the most comfortable phone I've ever had. But although it's comfortable, good luck trying to reach the notifications bar without repositioning your hand. It's impossible unless your fingers are like really long. From side to side, it's just fine since it is a bit narrower compared to previous generations. It's composed of metal and Gorilla Glass 5. One thing I already don't like is that after using it without a case for a week, some scratches appeared on the back bottom corners. I used it very carefully, and I take very good care of my stuff, and it was still scratched somehow. I don't know how. The display quality, oh man. Hands down, best display out there. I don't know how this and the iPhone X displays will compare since the iPhone isn't out yet, but this is probably one of the best displays out there right now. Probably the best. I'd argue that it's the best. And it's not just me. If you watch other people's reviews of this phone, they will say the same thing. It's a 6.3-inch Quad HD Plus Super AMOLED display with a resolution of 2960 by 1440. That's 521 pixels per inch. Just keep in mind that out of the box, the resolution is Full HD, and to change that, all you have to do is go to the settings and set it to the highest it goes. The display also has HDR10, which is part of the reason why movies and videos look super good, and it also supports the always-on feature. It's also very colorful, bright, and sharp outdoors. Now let's move on to a big selling point in today's market, the camera, or cameras I should say. If you haven't noticed, this phone has two cameras on the back and one in the front. The front camera has an 8 megapixel sensor capable of recording video at 1440p, which also supports HDR. On the back, one camera is telephoto and the other is wide angled. Both rear cameras have a 12 megapixel sensor capable of recording 4K video at 30 frames per second, 10 minutes at a time. They can also record Full HD at 60 frames per second. I know it's a lot of information, but just bear with me. Both lenses are equipped with HDR, optical image stabilization at all resolutions, and they have other features like virtual shot, motion photo, filters, live stickers, stamps, grid lines, location tags, timer, quick launch, and voice control. I know there's a lot. In short, these cameras have top of the line quality for smartphones today. The autofocus on the wide angle lens is insanely fast. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but I record most of my videos with the Note 8 and the focus quality is just out of this world. I probably put some sample footage on screen and you guys are checking that out right now. Let's move on to the gaming performance. Now, I made a video on this already, so you can watch that. Link is down below. So far, I think I've encountered no issues while gaming. I'm not a heavy gamer on smartphones, but I do play some games like Subway Surfers, Temple Run, and those games play perfectly fine, even with apps running in the background. So if you're planning on buying this phone for gaming, go for it. I did get someone who commented on my previous video saying that he or she saw Dragon Age Inquisition or one of those games lagging heavily on this phone. That probably means that that game is not well optimized for this phone, because this phone definitely has the power to play any of the games on the App Store. I'll have some specs on screen if you want to see them. Now this wouldn't be a Note review if I didn't talk about the S Pen. Now I use this on a daily basis for writing to-do lists, reminders, shots I want to record while filming and stuff like that. Normally, use with the S Pen is just phenomenal. I have no issues with it. This is an area that's feature packed. Some of those features are live message, screen off memo, smart select, screen write, translate, Bixby vision, glance, magnify. I'm gonna be honest with you, I've only used live message a couple times. I use screen off memo regularly and smart select occasionally. The rest I haven't even touched. There may be a lot of features, but you may not use them. If that's the case and you have the Note 7 and you're just focused on the S Pen, you probably shouldn't upgrade. With that said, everything I have tried has worked flawlessly, and I use the S Pen to use the phone regularly too. It's incredibly responsive, so definitely a positive. Now, to something that could destroy a phone standing or destroy the phone, literally, the battery life. So far I've had no issues with this 3300 mAh battery. It's lasted the whole school day and with, half the battery to spare. I'd say it could be better. I know Samsung was playing it safe after the Note 7, but there's room for improvement. Charging is really fast, that makes up for the irreplaceable battery, and I'm overall satisfied with the battery in general. The phone does not get hot while gaming or anything, only sometimes on long recording sessions and sometimes while charging, but not this hot. I'm also gonna add something about the audio. The speakers on this phone are good, but the headphone audio is excellent. I thought it was just in my head, but with the same headphones I used on previous phones, they sounded better on this phone. I don't even know what technology goes into this. I thought they were just all the same. One thing I know is that you can customize the audio to your liking. I like bass, and with the AKG earphones that come with the phone, they're not bass heavy, so I would turn on the UHQ upscaler in the settings and turn the bass knob 2 levels to the left. Since my everyday earphones are good in bass already, I just turn on the UHQ upscaler and leave everything else as it is. The UHQ upscaler has a very small difference on the audio quality, but it does sound a little bit better in some music. The sound is still great without it though. So the Bixby button is here. I almost forgot. Samsung really invested in Bixby for it to have its own button. The first couple of days with the phone, I kept on pressing the Bixby button instead of the volume down button, and it got in the way. But now I never even press it on accident. I haven't tried remapping it simply because sometimes I actually do use Bixby, and it's not a really big deal to me. So far, Bixby has worked as it's supposed to. I actually made a video about it a couple days ago. The link is also below. It gives me info when I ask for it, and I'm overall satisfied with it, but I don't know if it really needed its own button. It's good to have though. Now that I got the main points out of the way, the overall phone's functionality and fluidity is impressive, very impressive. I made a video on the speed of the phone and did not encounter any stutters or lag while filming, and I still haven't to this day. This phone is the fastest, smoothest phone I've ever used. That shouldn't be surprising since it is Samsung's top phone. So if you have a phone that's older than a year and a half, I would upgrade to this one. If you have the Note 7, if it hasn't blown up yet of course, keep that one because I don't think all the new features and upgrades would make that big of a difference. Anyway, I know this video was kinda long and I appreciate all the people who are still here. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below and I will respond. Have a great day.